I feel like it's been forever since I've done a CGC submission, and that is about to change because I am sending potentially 2 stacks of books in to be graded. And if you are curious what Silver Age and Modern Age books I am sending in to be graded, stay tuned for the video. Reggie here, and I want to welcome you to another one of my videos. As you heard in that brief intro, I am about to send some books into CGC, and honestly, I'm on the fence about a couple of them just because of the long turnaround time and what I plan to do with these books long term. But I'm going to show you those books, but the ones that I'm really excited about are the ones that I'll be submitting as an express order. These books are pretty awesome, and they have been in the collection for some time, and I cannot wait to send them off so that I can get them back so that I can truly enjoy them and hang them on the wall and appreciate them versus having them be squirreled away in a bin and not really be able to appreciate them. With that said, let me show you some of the books that I'm on the fence about sending in. The first one is Star Wars issue number 10, and this contains the first appearance of a Star Wars character that I'm not all that familiar with. This is a book that I'll probably get graded and then end up offering up on my website, regiecollects.com, but it is definitely a cool book. It is in great shape. I've actually found, I think, 3 copies of this in the collection thus far. That by far is the nicest of the copies and should come back at a pretty high grade. The next 2 are also books that I found in the 100K collection, but they're a little special. These are actually Canadian price variants for Wolverine issue number 4. And each one of the copies has 1 spine tick, so I think that they should come back relatively high grade. But they are nice copies. This one also has a little bit of a spot there on the side, but nice copies overall of these books, and they are Canadian price variants because they're actually 75 cents and also the newsstand. That was part of what captured my attention first, and then I realized that instead of 60 cents, they both were 75 cents, and I was able again to find 2 copies of those in the collection, and both again should be relatively high grade. The next book is one that I just want to get graded because I think it's a cool book and it fits in with my appreciation for Spider-Man's black costume. We are, of course, talking about Spectacular Spider-Man issue number 90. Just a really cool cover here. I actually have 3 copies of this in the collection. This by far is the nicest one, and I think that there's only 1 spine tick or stress line. I think that's what CGC calls them now, stress line on the spine. Other than that, a really, really nice copy of this book. So we will see. We'll see what happens with that one. It should come back at a decent grade, at least a 9.4, hopefully a 9.6. We'll see. The last book that I'm kind of on the fence about is one that was found technically by a couple of you who spotted it in a video that I was recording while I was hunting in the 100K collection for other books. And I investigated, sure enough, Swamp Thing issue number 37, a really, really cool book. This book is clean from the front, but then when you turn it over, there's probably 6 spine ticks or stress lines down the backside. But generally a nice copy, at least from the front. There's at least 1 spine tick on the front as well. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with those. These last couple might be some really cool books to have in the collection long term, which means that they aren't necessarily a priority for me to send in at this moment. But we'll see. The 3 books that I am really excited about are these right here. This is Fantastic Four issue number 49. This is actually my 3rd copy of this book. My highest graded is a 7.5, and I think I then have a 3.5 after that. This one is a pretty nice copy. I mean, it's clearly been loved. You can see hopefully down the spine of this, but it also has a little bit of rat chew down here at the bottom, and that's part of the reason why this one has not been sent in. I picked this one up several years ago for a really really good price, even with the rat shoe. But the values of this book, in my mind, are starting to warrant me sending it in to be graded. So we're going to go ahead and take shot on goal and send this one in, and fingers crossed we can get it back at a decent grade. Again, the values for that are pretty nice, so it makes sense to do it. The same can be said for this next book. This is Amazing Spider-Man issue number 6. This book, again, has been in the collection for quite some time. Really, really nice copy of this book. I want to say I've had 2 copies of this. I had one previous copy that had a little bit of a tear in the middle. I bought this one, sold that one, which essentially paid for this one. It is a nicer copy than the original. Really, really cool book. It definitely needs a clean and a press, but excited about being able to get this one back and hang it up with the other lower number ASM books that I've already graded. So that's part of the reason why I'm sending this one in. I'm on the fence about sending issue number 7 as well. But again, these books are in the collection. They've been there long term. I don't feel the urge at the moment to pay the money, but I do want to get 6 graded. It's a really, really cool book. And then the last book that has been in the collection for quite some time that I'm excited about sending in is also a little bit of an obscure book. It's a book that I've mentioned a few times in videos. I actually recently spoke about it as well. This is Graphic Fantasy issue number 1. And this is the first appearance of Dragon, who went on to be the Savage Dragon. This is an Eric Larson creation, a book that he self-published with some buddies back in the day. This book has been, like I said, in the collection for a while. It is definitely an obscure book. Not a ton of copies of this out there. I think Marvel or Image, one of the companies, just re-released this as a facsimile edition, and it was strange to walk into a comic shop and actually see this book on the shelf. But again, this is a cool book that we're going to send in, and fingers crossed we can get a decent grade. Generally speaking, this book is in great shape overall. There's a few like rust spots on the spine, but they could have been transferred, I think, from other books that this book may have been bundled with back in the day, because the rust does not appear to come from this book, or it could just be some other type of rust colored stain. It is interesting, but it'll be really interesting to see how they clean this book up, and again what it comes back at as a grade. And honestly, it does not matter, because this book, like the last couple, will be in the collection long term. So there you have it. That is essentially my haul of Silver Age through modern books that I'm potentially going to be sending in to CGC. I will tell you the last 3 absolutely are going. The others, we'll see what happens. But I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. And if you did, I certainly want to encourage you to go ahead and hit the thumbs up button. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel for some reason or another, I want to invite you to do that right now. Just go ahead and tap that button, turn on notifications, and that way you won't miss out on any of the content that comes out from the channel. If you need to reach out to me, feel free to do so on Instagram at Regie Collects. Take care.